Welcome to the fabulous world of tomorrow, where we've managed to outdo ourselves in the art of laziness and technological dependence. Picture this. In a place where robots are more common than a cold in winter, we've birthed a genius invention called the surrogate. These little beauties are like your personal doppelganger, only way less sarcastic. They're so realistic, they make reality look like yesterday's leftovers. So, how do these marvels of modern science work, you ask? Well, strap in for this mind-blowing explanation. You sit on a fancy chair thingy, and voila! Over 100 sensors latch onto your noggin, connecting your brainwaves to your shiny new surrogate. Think it, and they'll do it. It's like playing puppeteer with a robot version of yourself. Lionel Cantor, the brainiac behind this whole shebang, initially meant it for the disabled folks. Bless his soul. But, surprise, surprise, within a few years, it's the military's new favorite toy. Because why solve problems with diplomacy when you can just send in your army of surrogates, right? Fast forward a bit, and suddenly everyone and their grandma has one of these bad boys. They're cheaper than a burger combo, and just as addictive. Who needs to venture outside when you can send your surrogate to do your bidding? Plus, you get to customize your surrogate to look like a Greek god without breaking a sweat. Plastic surgery? Pfft, a thing of the past. Who needs exercise when your surrogate can do all the heavy lifting? Flash forward 7 years and boom, 98% of the world's population is hooked. We're talking full-blown surrogate addiction here, folks. People hardly leave their homes anymore, opting to let their surrogate mingle with other surrogates like it's the hottest social club in town. Crime rates plummet, diseases are on the run, and discrimination takes a back seat. All thanks to our shiny metal friends. But hold on to your hats, because not everyone's sipping the surrogate Kool-Aid. There's a bunch of party poopers out there who reckon humans shouldn't be living through machines. They've carved out their little surrogate-free zones like it's some sort of cult, led by a guy they call the Prophet. I bet he's loads of fun at parties. Cut to 14 years later, and we've got ourselves a murder mystery straight out of a sci-fi thriller. A young dude struts into a club, lies to his old man, and takes a leap off a balcony like it's no big deal. Surprise, surprise, he's a surrogate. He even lands on his feet like a cat on a hot tin roof. Smooth, right? They get out of there to spend some naughty time together. But things take a dark turn when a biker dude zaps him and his lady friend with some sci-fi gadget. Cue the cops and the paramedics scratching their heads over a fried memory chip and a girl who turns out to be a middle-aged dude in his living room, dead as a doornail. Enter our dynamic duo of FBI agents, Tom Greer and Jennifer Peters, who stumble upon this mess and realize they're in for one heck of a ride. Because in a world where everyone's living through their surrogates, a good old-fashioned murder is as rare as a unicorn sighting. Cue the dramatic music. Picture this. Tom, our protagonist, hops on the subway after a hard day's work, surrounded by a sea of surrogates. It's like a convention for robots. Except these ones are doing the daily grind for their lazy human overlords. Tom finally arrives home, where he graciously serves a glass of water to his real self, who looks like he's been hit by the ugly stick a few too many times. Yep, turns out our boy Tom has been living the dream, using his suave, young-looking surrogate to tackle life's hurdles while he kicks back and relaxes. But wait, there's more. When Tom ventures out of his cave to reunite with his wife, Maggie, guess who greets him? You got it, Maggie's surrogate. Turns out Tom's been having conversations with a metal and plastic version of his missus for who knows how long. Romantic, right? So, Tom, being the adventurous type, suggests a getaway to spice things up. But nope, Maggie would rather send her surrogate on a trip and live vicariously through her. Because why experience life firsthand when you can watch it on a screen, am I right? Meanwhile, in a college dorm room not too far away, some poor schmuck named Gerard Cantor kicks the bucket while still strapped into his stim chair. Talk about a killer study session, huh? Cut to the FBI office, where our crack team of detectives is scratching their heads over Gerard's demise. Turns out, the surrogates weren't just murdered, but their owners bit the dust too. But lo and behold, Gerard was the son of none other than Dr. Lionel Cantor, the big shot behind the whole surrogate craze. Tom and Jennifer decide to pay the good doctor a visit, only to discover he's been breaking the law by juggling multiple surrogates. But because he's the inventor, they give him a pass. Typical, right? Turns out Gerard was using one of Daddy Cantor's surrogates when he met his untimely end, leading the detectives to believe that the killer was after the old man, not the kid. Off to the surrogate headquarters they go, where the CEO brushes off their concerns faster than you can say, cover up. But thanks to some nifty camera footage, they ID the killer as Miles Strickland. Time to call in the big guns. Enter Bobby Saunders, the tech whiz who can shut down surrogates with a snap of his fingers. After some digital sleuthing, they track down Miles and give chase in a helicopter. But wouldn't you know it, Miles is armed to the teeth and ready to rumble. In a heart-stopping showdown, Miles takes out the surrogates, the helicopter, and even wounds the real Tom. Talk about a rough day at the office. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Tom wakes up in the hospital only to find out he's been benched for a week for trespassing in a restricted area. Guess he'll have to put his detective hat on hold for a while. But wait, there's a twist. Miles meets up with the leader of the anti-surrogate movement, the Prophet, who promptly offs him for reasons unknown. Just another day in paradise, folks. Just another day. Well, buckle up, because our boy Tom is on a mission, and he's leaving his metal sidekick behind for once. Talk about breaking free from the surrogate shackles. He heads straight to the restricted zone to confront Miles, only to find him toastier than a burnt marshmallow at a campfire. Tom tries to get some answers from the Prophet about the mystery weapon, but all he gets is a one-way ticket to a beatdown. Ouch. But fear not, our hero manages to escape with the help of a good Samaritan, who just happens to be Cantor's surrogate. Small world, huh? Cantor drops some wisdom on Tom, advising him to focus on the weapon and its origins, because nothing says helpful advice like a good old mystery to solve. Back at home, Tom stumbles upon Maggie hanging out with her young friends, looking guiltier than a kid with their hand in the cookie jar. But Tom's not one to confront his missus in public. Oh no. Instead, he takes out his frustration on a random dude who turns out to be, you guessed it, a surrogate. Talk about a swing and a miss. Meanwhile, in a plot twist that would make even Christopher Nolan proud, Jennifer gets a surprise visit from an unwelcome guest who decides to play puppet master with her surrogate. Looks like it's bad news bears for poor Jennifer. Next up, Tom pays a visit to the military bigwig to get the lowdown on the mystery weapon. Turns out it's called an overload device, and it's about as friendly as a hungry grizzly bear. Designed to wreak havoc on surrogates with a side of operator casualties, it's the ultimate bad boy gadget. But hey, who needs a safety net when you're saving the world, right? In a twist of fate, Tom spills the beans about the weapon's whereabouts in exchange for some juicy info. Looks like it's game on for our intrepid detective. Meanwhile, the Prophet decides to play Santa Claus and gift Jennifer's surrogate with a shiny new toy, because nothing says happy holidays like a weapon of mass destruction. Back in the real world, Tom decides to play therapist with Maggie, dredging up painful memories of their lost son. Turns out, they've been drowning in grief since the tragic accident, and Maggie's real self is about as far from her surrogate as you can get. Talk about a plot twist. But wait, there's more. The military swoops in to crash the Prophet's anti-surrogate party, only to find out that their fearless leader is nothing more than a well-crafted puppet. Cue the dramatic music. And just when you thought the roller coaster ride was over, Dr. Cantor pulls back the curtain to reveal himself as the mastermind behind the whole shebang. Turns out he's been playing puppet master with the Prophet to put an end to his own creation. Talk about a twist ending, huh? But wait, there's a cherry on top of this sundae of surprises. Jennifer's surrogate, which is now controlled by Carter, drops the bombshell that his son was offed by none other than VSI and their shady boss, Andy Stone. Looks like revenge is a dish best served with a side of justice. Buckle up, folks, because Carter's got a bone to pick with the world of surrogates. His son's demise has him on a mission to take down every surrogate user out there. But hey, every hero needs their weapon, right? And lucky for him, Jennifer's got the goods. Jennifer spills the beans to Tom about Stone's dirty deeds and asks him to snag Stone's computer files for evidence. So, Tom does what any good detective would do. He pays Stone a visit and knocks him out cold. Smooth move, Tom. Then he grabs all the digital dirt he can carry and bolts. With the weapon and the code in hand, Jennifer's ready to unleash chaos on the surrogate world. But hold on to your hats, because just when things are heating up, they hit a speed bump, literally. Jennifer's surrogate gets hijacked, and they end up in a fender bender. Talk about bad timing. While Jennifer's off playing hacker, Tom's hot on the trail of the mastermind behind it all, Cantor. He storms Cantor's mansion and demands answers. Turns out Cantor's got a bone to pick with the surrogate obsession too. He created them to help the less fortunate, not turn everyone into couch potatoes. But now that his son's gone, he's ready to pull the plug on the whole shebang. After a heart-to-heart with Cantor, he takes matters into his own hands and punches his own ticket with a pill. Talk about a dramatic exit. But the party's not over yet. Tom jumps into Jennifer's surrogate and teams up with Bobby to stop the virus from turning the world into a robotic graveyard. After a nail-biting race against the clock, they manage to save the day. Now, it's decision time for Tom. With the fate of the surrogate world in his hands, he hesitates before hitting that big red button. But in the end, he decides enough is enough and shuts down every surrogate on the planet. Talk about a power move. And just like that, hundreds of surrogates grind to a halt, and their owners emerge from their cocoons for the first time in years. It's like a real-life zombie apocalypse, minus the brain-eating undead. As the dust settles, Tom rushes home to find Maggie, and surprise, surprise, she's not where he expected. But don't worry, folks. It's a happy ending as they share a tearful hug in their son's room. Because nothing says family reunion like shutting down the robot army and getting back to basics.